Hello, Mash. Thank you for joining me today. I wanted to kick things off by asking you about your work history and what you were doing prior to becoming an Eazi-Business partner.
My background is primarily IT sales for nearly 25, 30 odd years. Worked for various companies, small to medium to large. Probably some of the companies that might resonate or you recognize Capita. I spent a short while at Capita. So most of my work was, as I mentioned, IT sales and working for systems integrators, really. And my job was to effectively sell data center solutions around server infrastructure, storage, managed service contracts. That's primarily what I've been doing for 25 to 30 odd years, and was reasonably successful at it. Earned a good income. I thought it was time for me to sort of do something different, I guess. But they were very fruitful years. I learned a lot. It's been going quite well.
So, in terms of that period of your life, had you been exclusively selling to larger businesses? Had you tried working with small or independent businesses back then?
Primarily, the sort of target market we had was medium to large corporate enterprises. So the type of solutions, I was involved with, revenue wise, you talking anything but from 200K to a million, 1.5 million in terms of sales. My largest contract was a managed service contract for worth 2.7 million over 3 years. So it was mostly, corporate enterprise type accounts that I was selling into. The biggest, one of, I guess, a famous account was John Lewis that I looked after for a while, selling into their data center. Obviously, John Lewis, they had a large IT infrastructure, of which we were a key partner for the company that I worked for.
Interesting. And given your 25 years experience working with these large organizations, why did you decide at that point in your career to join the Eazi-Business network?
Yeah, I mean, I think I obviously moved around from company to company. I think that's what you did. It primarily in IT sales to sort of increase your income, increase your salary, and I sort of moved around. It was an incestuous industry, managers. My boss moved around as well, and in a lot of cases, I moved to where he moved to because he recruited me for the company he went to. So after a while, there was obviously dealing with sort of large organizations. I was traveling all over the country, right from down south to way up north in sort of towards Newcastle. And after a while, 20 odd years doing that, traveling a lot by train and by car, I just needed a break from traveling, and I wanted to do something different. And I really wanted to work on my own. I think that was the key factor, having the flexibility of just being my own boss and having the responsibility to do that. I think that was one of the main drivers for me wanting to move away from from IT sales into doing something on my own.
Excellent. And did you have any experience in running a business before, or was this your first time?
My first venture. Never been involved in doing anything like this, so it's been a bit of a learning curve, I must admit, over the last few years or so. And yeah, I've learned a lot. You learn a lot about yourself and learn a lot about what it takes to run a business.
Thinking back to the very start when you first launched your business with us, can you remember at all how Eazi-Business specifically helped you to gain traction back in those early days?
Yeah, I mean, I think I started 4 or 5 years ago now, and I looked at a lot of different ways to work for myself, starting from scratch, and I started looking at franchisees as well, and I did look at quite a few. Um, but what attracted me to Eazi-Business, or Easy Apps as it was just referred to as, it was A, working for yourself, but B, not just working for myself, but working for an organization that provided support, which is why what the franchise sort of option appealed to me. And it was a relatively low cost franchise compared to other franchisees that I looked at. You know, you're talking about 40, 50K as an investment on some of the opportunities that I looked at. And I also thought apps were growing in the marketplace. I wanted to be involved in something that was technology based because of my background. So, you know, apps was a natural fit, really. So things like generating monthly income, working for yourself, relatively low cost franchise, what appealed to me. And then when I started at Eazi-Business, in terms of guidance, yeah, there was a lot of marketing collateral. I had a weekly induction course at head office, and then weekly induction sessions via Zoom call, via telephone. So that was, you know, quite a learning curve that I had to go through, which was good because that introduced me to a lot of concepts that I probably wasn't even aware of in terms of the benefits of apps for organizations, and then obviously subsequently moved on to providing websites.
So you started with that, and now you're also selling websites. At the start of the interview, you talked about your corporate life and some of the big names that you've worked with. Could you tell me about some of the customers you're working with now and what sort of industries they're in?
Yeah, it really is a varied cross section. Um, the sort of projects that I've been involved with: a golf e-commerce site, an eco-friendly online store, both were websites, an IP telephony company, a local cancer charity. All of these were websites to start off with. And I've done quite a few trail guide apps. So people who've got trails, and quite a few of these were like heritage trails, historic heritage trails that organizations wanted to have in the form of an app, which was a lot more user intuitive, and that was quite popular. Still working on, so I've done about 3 or 4 trail guide sites, and I'm still doing one now. A recruitment agency website, and currently working with a health and safety company, doing risk assessment forms for using job form technology. So a lot of mixture of different types of market sectors that I've been involved in.
Really interesting. Speaking about your client who has the heritage trails, this is just an assumption, but heritage trails, these are like walks that you can go on. Am I correct?
Yeah, walks. So it's using the places feature within the app platform to designate specific locations around a trail. So as people go around, they're looking at, you know, details of what that location is, and then the distance and the trail to the next location. That was the key requirements for 2 or 3 organizations that I worked with.
So, are these entirely separate organizations that all have trails that want to promote them? Or is this like one organization that has different trails?
No, these are totally different organizations, all spread all over the country. One based in Loughborough, Leicestershire, another one based down in Braintree, Essex, another one in Rain, which is in Hertfordshire. So, and I'm currently doing another one in Bridgewater, Somerset. So these are all In fact, a couple of them are individuals, and a couple of them are just part of a small organization, a community. Most of these are just communities who want to promote their whatever those locations are, historic sites primarily.
Awesome. Did it happen that after creating one of these apps, others approached you? Or did you use the app as an example to then reach out to different organizations? How did it work commercially, I guess?
Yeah, mostly the latter, i.e., demonstrating some of these apps that are built to other individuals, organizations, and that helped gave me a bit of credibility and a bit of authority on ability to deliver what they were looking for in terms of a trail guide.
In terms of your other customers, you mentioned businesses from all sorts of different industries. How did you go about finding these customers? Are there any strategies that you could share at all?
Yeah, a combination of different methods, really. I think one of the hardest lessons was you've got to be totally flexible and adopt all sorts of different methods. So to generate leads, so email marketing, referrals, inquiries via website, Facebook advertising, LinkedIn adverts, networking events. I think I've tried them all. And you've got to use a combination of all of these in some way, shape, or form, and you'll find that you'll generate leads from all these sources. So I think building a lead generation marketing tool, I think, is critical. And I didn't do that to start off with, So one of the things I would strongly recommend any new partner is to really focus in on lead generation, marketing funnel almost. So you've got a steady stream of leads coming through from all different sources. So you're never reliant on any one method, because sometimes one method doesn't work all the time. So you've got to have different tools, different methods to build your leads. And you need that to keep generating the revenue and the cash flow within your business.
Absolutely. You mentioned a lot of different channels for generating leads, such as email marketing, social media, networking events. Now that you've been running your business for 5 years, have you found that some of these ways of selling are more effective than others, or are they all about the same?
It depends on. That's a good question. It depends on the sort of state of the economy and the state of the market. Really, one thing works one time and another thing works another time. It depends on the state of play, really, on where the market is. Obviously, during those 5 years that I established the business, we went through COVID, so that wasn't an easy period to go through. And it took a lot of work to get through, and we still go climbing through that period. Things are not easy, as straightforward as you would want it to be. And obviously now with the state of the market, with cost of living and everything going up in costs, it's equally more sort of important that you have all these key lead generation tools and have a set methodology to generate opportunities for you.
That's a nice transition because last year we introduced the Marketing Hub, which is a central site for our marketing materials that all of our partners can access. We also launched the Sales Center with built-in snapshot reports. So I feel like for us, over the last 12 months, there's been this primary focus on marketing and lead generation. Have you happened to use any of these resources within your own business at all?
Yeah. I'm sort of really focusing in on the sales center and the business center, building up the database and using that as a lead generation tool. I'm beginning to really ramp that up now, and that's generating some tentative opportunities, which will eventually come through as potential, sales. So that's another, I think, key area that I'm glad Eazi-Business has been focusing on over the last 6 to 8 months. So that again goes as part of the other things that any franchisee should focus on, is not just the sales center, which is really important now, but this Facebook bit, the LinkedIn generation, the email marketing. It's all part of the bundle, I think, that you need to get involved in to hopefully generate opportunities for your business.
You've talked about leveraging the business center, so giving businesses access to some of our additional products. Have you been using the business center as part of your business development efforts?
So I've started using all the campaigns that are built in within the sales center. So whether it be introduction to the Snapshot Report, introduction to SEO, introduction to mobile apps, or introduction to websites, platforms, I've used all of them now so depending upon the type of lead or prospect that I'm looking to target, I will use one of those campaign modules to just automatically send out. I think the introduction to the Snapshot Report is just one email that goes out, but the apps one, for example, has 5 emails that go out over a period of 4 or 5 weeks, which is good, because once you set that in place, you don't forget about it, but it does it automatically. And that's one of the real benefits of using some sort of sales and marketing tool that does things in background, which you then can focus in on other areas as well. So I've started to use that extensively now.
Excellent. In your response, one of the things you mentioned was the Snapshot Report, the report that you can use to generate for a business that analyzes their online presence. I was curious, at what point would you introduce that into the sales process? Do you use it to generate leads or secure a meeting, for example?
I've found that I can use it to generate leads, as well as progress an existing opportunity, or to generate a new opportunity within an existing account. So I've done some of the websites that I've mentioned for a few of those clients that I've got. I've started doing snapshot reports for all of them now, and that's generating potential opportunities around SEO, around using that as a tool in itself by my customers to build up their online presence. So it's a combination of all three, really, generating leads right to a cold prospect, right through to generating additional revenue opportunities from an existing customer as well.
And could you give me some insight as to how much you would charge for your services? I know that you're primarily delivering apps and websites. Do you have a fixed pricing policy, or would you quote according to the business's needs?
It really does vary. I keep it totally flexible depending upon the type of business, the type of customer, the type of opportunity, the type of requirements. So really go through a qualification phase, and depending upon the type of customer it is, I've charged anything from a sort of small app for a small business of around £1,000, right up through to sort of medium-sized organization where I've charged £4,000 to £5,000 for a combination of a mobile app and a website, or just a mobile app or just a website. So I've got quite a few customers where I've built a website and a mobile app, and quite a few customers where I've just built a mobile app for them and just a website for them. So yeah, but effectively, between £1,000 to I think £5,000 for a website and a mobile app that I built for one of my customers.
It sounds like taking that flexible approach has really worked out quite well for you and enables you to work with businesses of different sizes, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to have a flexible approach because the ad platform, for example, has got so many features that you can use just one of them or any one or quite a combination of quite a few of them. But if you're using quite a few features, 4 or 5 features, to build an app for a customer to address some key requirements, that's quite a bit of work involved to use those features. So that will inevitably have an impact on costs. So the more features, the more functionality built into the app, and goes to the website as well, the more you can charge, because you can show value of what you're doing for a customer.
Awesome. Can you give me some indication or insight as to how well the business is doing at the moment?
Oh, it has varied a bit, I must admit, over the last few years. And the primary reason for that is having gone through a COVID pandemic, because business was just totally died during the COVID pandemic. But it's starting to pick up now. I think last year I probably generated between 30 and 40K in terms of income, which was actually quite good straight after a COVID pandemic. So over the next couple of years, I'm looking to build on that, and probably, I'm looking to I'll probably earn about 40 to 50K over the next couple of years or so.
Given all of your experience and the adventures that you've had over the last 5 years, what advice would you give to someone that's considering joining the Eazi-Business network today?
I would strongly recommend any new partner to focus on 2 or 3 key things. First is learn the basic principles of digital marketing, understand the concepts, because you need to explain these concepts to small to medium-sized organizations, because there's a lot of business owners out there who are pretty naive. They don't understand the basics of digital marketing. They don't understand really the basics of what a website does. It's not just a brochure that they're putting online. There are key aspects to a website that any basic principles that you should be aware of. So that's one of the key things. Understand the basic concepts and spend some real time going through and learning and building up knowledge about these key principles. And the second is spend a lot of time building a methodology for marketing funnel, i.e. lead generation. Because if you do those basic things right from the outset, over a period of time, those are set in play, and you're getting a steady flow of leads coming through, of opportunities coming through. Those are the key things I would really focus in on. And the other key aspect, I think, is which I'm starting to do, I didn't from the outset, is to learn about SEO. That is such a huge market. If you understand SEO, the key principles, and therein lies the courses that Eazi-Business offer. Do those courses; they are really good, and you learn a lot from them.
So, are you looking at SEO as a mechanism to generate leads for your business or as a service to sell to businesses?
Both, really, to generate leads, very much like the Snapshot Report. Doing an SEO audit for a prospective customer will generate, hopefully, opportunities and sales, and also using it to generate additional revenue from existing customers that I've built websites for as well. So a bit of both.
So, a bit of both. Great. Mash, I know you're an incredibly busy person. I'd like to thank you for giving up some of your time today. It's been tremendously insightful, and I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully it goes well. Thank you.